Okay, morning, Year 8. I'm just here to explain the notification assessment. Now, you will have received a new assessment task amended due to everything that's happening at the moment. So a few things have changed to allow you to work on these particular tasks at home. The big thing is that our lino carving process will be postponed until we do return to school, and we've added in a Photoshop portrait, which I'll discuss now. So it's still due first lesson of week 5, term 2, still worth 50%. Still has an art making and written component. The written component hasn't changed. You can read through this all yourself. Okay, and we know every task is explained with examples, samples, resources in student tasks. The link is there in case you don't have it already, which hopefully you should. Okay, so part A are your drawings and designs for your lino printing. So you're creating 2 designs inspired by pop art. One of them, stage 1, is a Posca coloured pencil drawing inspired by Liechtenstein. Now we change that to colour pencil in case you don't have Poscas, which I don't think you would at home. So colour pencil, Sharpie and black pen are fine for that one. And then converting that to a black and white lino design, which we'll talk about in a moment. And I've explained this in the video called Explaining the Tasks, which was posted maybe about a week ago. Okay, so this is your first design. Okay, if I'll just show you on student tasks, you might be able to see the progression. Where are we? Down here. We've got the Posca drawing inspired by Roy Lichtenstein. We then need to draw it up again in line only to then convert it to this one here, which is black and white design only. So you might need to adapt a few things. So you're changing this design to black and white. We need to block in black areas and leave white areas. So here are some other examples, as I've shown you in my last video, of some other lino prints. So a few things to note. Your dots that you may have included with Roy Lichtenstein are going to be too hard. Small dots are going to be too hard to carve. So you may want to turn them into some swirls or some stripes, as you can see here. Also, you don't want any line smaller than 2 to 3 millimeters, otherwise it's too hard to carve. Lastly, everything that you leave white is going to have to be carved. So we look at this face here. Everything is white will have been carved out with some tools out of the leather. I'm hoping you've watched the videos as has been posted on Classroom of what lino carving involves. You can see here that we have a man carving out of a lino block. We see with this dog, everything that's been left white has been carved out. So keep those things in mind. Some little reminders are on slide 40 that I just went through here. You can see these at the bottom. So make sure you're familiar with those tasks. So you'll be submitting your black and white lino design for your formal assessment. So they're the 2 drawings, Posca, black and white, done. Now I'm hoping that you all really should have these done by the time we return next term. Your teacher will have set up posts. These should be done, completed by the time you return next term. We can always add little details and make them better, but they should be primarily done. Now the next task that is new is the Photoshop, because the design, carving and printing of your lino can't be done at home, so we've postponed that. So we've now added the Photoshop portrait task. I'll just show you on student tasks so you can see at the bottom. You're going to be creating a Warhol inspired Photoshop portrait. You can get a little bit of an idea of some inspiration here. Nice bright bold colours, filling in areas of the face in often unrealistic colours, adding line, shape, texture, pattern to add some personality to your portrait. So you'll be creating your own version of this with your own face. Some examples are there. Now this has been copied and pasted directly off the notification, so you can have a little read through that yourself. Now in terms of this task, feel free to start on it in the holidays. There's tutorials for this, but we will be spending weeks sort of 1 to 4 doing this in class along with the theory. So up to you, but in case you do want to work ahead and you're bored in holidays. So you can have a little read through that there of what we're expecting. Now, these tutorials 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 talk you through the task step by step. So you can see part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All you're expected to do is follow these. But of course, add your own creativity and flair, and you can add extra elements to be a bit innovative and also be inspired by pop art in your own way. So you can see I've done this with Justin Bieber, and it talks you through the whole task. Okay, different colours of the face, adding lines, adding text. So what I suggest you do is maybe you watch one, and then you watch it again, and then you do. So watch a little section, pause, and then do it yourself in Photoshop. Watch a little section, pause, do it yourself would be a good way to work through this task. Now, what else has been included is a Photoshop Basics tutorial, which goes through really basic tools and techniques that you really need to know how to do before you jump into these tutorials. So do that first. Very easy, but really good revision or experience with Photoshop. There's an advanced one there you can watch as well for some extra techniques. And then this Photoshop manual here is a Word document. It's like a written out sort of manual of tools and techniques in Photoshop. So good to have next to you. If you could, I would have that printed and have that sitting next to me as I'm working. Okay. There is an extension option for this task. You can have a little read through that if you are interested, and if your Photoshop skills are pretty good, there's an extension option that you can choose. So all of that information there is very visual for you, but also written here in the notification of assessment. All the tutorials are there. Extension option. Now the written component you won't need to start until next term, because we are going to be doing some little preparation lessons for this. Feel free to start if you'd like and have a look and get familiar with the task, but you won't need to start on that until next term. Below this you can see there's the marking guidelines for each task. We've got the 2 drawings, colour pencil Posca, black and white, and what constitutes an A, B, C, D, E. And you can see that both those drawings are out of 20 marks. Then we have our pop art portrait being assessed on pop art style and your Photoshop tools and techniques. And of course, we've got that extension option in there if you did choose to take it. That's out of 30. Then our written task, scroll down, that's out of 30. So that gives us a total of 100 marks. Good luck, guys. Any questions, get in contact with your teacher.